right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Adventure News broadcast. Tonight, we have some news relating to the Sims 4 Lovestruck Expansion Pack, right? It's the Lovestruck Expansion Pack. Oh God. You know, I did this. Oh God, I did. No, not that. That's not what I wanted. Yes, it's the Lovestruck Expansion Pack. But yeah, the Lovestruck Expansion Pack. We have some news. We have some tea. I have some potentially slightly hot takes about this pack. But we are going to watch the trailer really quick first and kind of react to that. And then we'll get into more of the information about the pack. So here we go. Oh, let me, do we have subtitles? This is The Sims, so I don't think we need subtitles. I do love that wall. I think that wall is stunning. The dancing is killing me. It's something else. Cupid's Corner. That's a dating app, probably. Yeah, I mean, what else would it be? Would be a dating app. Okay, we're showing up at her place. Oh, flowers, roses. There is a round pool, I think, on that penthouse apartment. And that's extremely exciting. Oh, Lord. In the closet. Love the same-sex couple representation. That's really good. The bear outfit. Oh. Death by heartbreak. That's kind of exciting. Oh, was that a Caliente? That is a Caliente. Yeah, it's Don Lothario, so it's the Calientes. We have our whole pre-order stuff. So yeah, that is the trailer for the new Lovestruck Expansion Pack. We also have a little bit of a blog post, because they usually do a blog post on this kind of stuff. So fall in love with the Sims 4 Lovestruck Expansion Pack. So it's time to open your heart to romance and the beautiful world of, oh, hold on. I was going to actually expand this so that you guys can see a little bit better. Hold on. There we go. That's better. In the beautiful world of Ciudad Enamorada. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. My 5 years of high school Rosetta Stone Spanish are many years behind me at this point, so my Spanish pronunciation is not necessarily the best at this point. But yeah, Ciudad Enamorada. I've been hearing from a lot of creators that are a lot of people that it's listening to everyone try to pronounce this is funny to them, like native Spanish speakers and things like that. But so you can go on dates, obviously. So the big takeaways from this pack. The Cupid's Corner dating app, that's really huge. Like being able to use a dating app. There's this really funny graphic of a guy holding a fish. I know that's such a meme on the internet when it comes to dating apps of a man holding a fish being a whole thing, and dating apps of what's the biggest red flag in your dating app? A guy holding a fish, or a guy working out or whatever. But I just that the dating app is huge. You can search for other singles there, and that's kind of a big deal because it's really hard to find singles in The Sims. If you have vanilla, I know that Little Simsy tends to use the clubs feature from Get Together to kind of forcibly make her own dating app. She kind of finds a workaround for it, but I don't have the Get Together pack yet, so I just have to go out and organically find people, which isn't necessarily always as easy as you think it would be. But yeah, so you can have there's a dating app. You can, what was the other one? You can go to a bar, obviously. There's a beso rapido, a little inn, that you can much needed sleep or take their steamy date for a little tryst. And what was the other things that I was it was really, interesting. So this is another huge feature. There is a singles hangout lot trait that will attract single sims. That is also amazing because, you know, kind of how like you can set lots to be like a bar or a library or a museum. You can now do a singles hangout, so it'd be way easier to meet singles. So that's really, 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 like that's the two things I'm the most excited about with this pack are the dating app and the online dating and the singles hangout. That's really huge for me. And then something else that I think is super interesting. You can create a date. So you can make like an actual plan dates in advance. So like picking a date type, a venue, and selecting activities and goals for the dates. And then let me see. So there are romance dynamics with the Sims. So basically, your Sims will have turn-ons and turn-offs, and that will determine romantic compatibility, kind of similar to the different like personality trait stuff that was happening in Growing Together. I personally don't have Growing Together, so I don't have a ton of experience using that, but that's kind of like similar to what's going on with that. There's like 4 different dynamics: wholesome, steamy, strained, and unpredictable. There's a romance skill. This is crazy. And then there's like turn-ons and turn-offs, personality behavior elements that either raise or lower Sims attracted to another Sim. You also have romantic satisfaction. So now your partners will say whether or not they're satisfied with the relationship. And if you're like not following the things that they like, they'll get upset and not be satisfied. Also, there's a romantic aspiration, and you can be a career of a romance consultant or whatever. Another interesting feature with this is free for all players is the new romantic boundary system that will allow you to customize your Sim's experience with boundaries and jealousy. And you can define how your Sims approach romantic relationships in terms of physical and emotional romantic exclusivity. This allows for Sims to date multiple Sims without impact to other relationships. So this basically means you can be polyamorous, which is kind of big. So I have a lot of thoughts about this pack. Okay, if I had to sum up how I feel about this pack in so many words, well, number one, I know that a lot of people are kind of nervous that this doesn't quite qualify as an expansion pack, like for charging the money for it. Like, yes, it has a world, yes, it has stuff, but it low-key may or may not sound like it's enough stuff for an expansion pack. And like people are worried about that, right? Of like whether or not, like, you know, they're kind of, this should really be a game pack instead of an expansion pack. But we won't really know until the pack itself drops. So like that, I'm kind of holding off on that, but I am a little worried about how it's mostly gameplay related and not much else. Like it felt like Growing Together had more, if that makes sense somehow. So that's a thing. As far as my opinions about this pack, I feel like the gameplay features are very needed and they get a big thumbs up from me. So like, you know, the dating app, huge. Singles like hangout lot, huge. Like finally being able to have your Sims be polyamorous, huge. That's pretty significant. The thing that I am worried about the gameplay features though is the whole like attraction and romantic satisfaction thing, because it depends on how strong that is. Because if you have to really bend over backwards to make sure your partner is satisfied in your relationship, that sounds like it could get exhausting really quick, like really tiring, like depending how big your Sims household is and stuff and how many people you have in like relationships. Because like, you know, there's a lot of people that play with multi-generational families where they have a whole bunch of Sims in one household. That would get really tiring to manage really quick depending on how they implement it. But like, you know, just the dating, that's pretty huge. I will say for me, the theming of this pack makes me kind of uncomfortable. And in particular, I don't know how to say this without sounding, I don't know how to say this without and be nice about it, I guess, and not sound super opinionated. But like, I think the theming for this pack is kind of off the mark considering the vibes out in the world lately. So the whole theming of this pack is like the summer of hot love, and like get yourself a sultry, sexy date. And like, it's just very like a hookup culture but not in a way that feels empowering, but more in a way that feels kind of skeevy to me. I don't see a lot of other people feeling this way, so maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I feel like it's kind of giving me the ick a little bit of like, you gotta be a player, and you gotta get out there, and you gotta like, you know, like find yourself a hot date that you can woohoo wherever you can. The whole like adult costumes thing really is stupid to me. Like, I'm sorry, it's silly, and I know that The Sims likes to make fun of like, you know, sort of adult topics like that, but like it just feels like a lot to me. And a lot of the marketing for this was like, go find yourself a new boo and have a summer of hot love. And I'm like, I guess the reason this is coming off so icky to me, if you guys are keeping up at all, this is, as I'm recording this is like June 2024. There are whole dating apps out there that have been posting, I think it's Bumble that's been doing the whole celibacy is not the answer. Basically, with the socio-political climate right now, there are a lot of women out there right now that are worried about our healthcare rights being taken away, abortion rights. There's a lot of states that are trying to ban birth control, like at all. And then, I mean, like they're trying to ban birth control federally, and it's like a whole fight happening right now. And also, like, there are states currently that are trying to do away with no-fault divorce. So the general socioeconomic climate right now is women being like, no, we don't want to be in committed relationships with men who are going to treat us poorly. And that's just kind of the strong... this pack feels poorly. The theming of this pack feels poorly timed. And I know that, like, they plan this stuff years in advance, so they didn't know that the vibe would be this way. But I mean, if they've even been planning it only for like a year, the whole abortion rights issue has been an issue since last year, like last summer. So this does not feel like a summer of hot love to me. This feels like a summer of women trying to stand up and ask for better for themselves and being worried about their own rights. And like vasectomies have like skyrocketed in the United States over the past like few months because of like the whole like birth control issues and abortion issues. And so like it just, the timing of this feels off. I think the stuff in the pack is really important. And I don't have a suggestion for how they could have done this better. I just think, to me, the vibe is off. I don't like the theming very much. I will say the city looks really pretty. The cast items, the build buy items are not enthusing to me. It's giving 80s porn star to me. Like that's what I think they're trying to go for, but I just don't know if we should bring that vibe back. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if that's something that we needed to, like, when we're like bring it back 2024. I don't know if that's like what we needed to bring back in 2024. Also, but I have heard from a lot of people, I do believe that this city is supposed to be inspired by Mexico. And I have seen a lot of Mexicans in the comments speaking about how this is an amazing representation of Mexico, that they have a hard time finding places that represent Mexico in a good light. And so I've been hearing from people in the chat, I guess, people in the comments on the announcements and stuff, that this is a very good representation of a Mexican city. So I'm happy for them. I'm glad for that. Like, I'm glad they're doing a good job culturally representing, but I don't know. I just feel like the tone of this pack is kind of coming off in the same tone as Bumble's celibacy isn't the answer, like billboards. I don't remember if it was Bumble or Hinge. It was one of the two, but it's giving the same vibe to me. And I'm like, no. And there's a way to do, like, oh, I guess the other thing that kind of bothers me a little bit, so I don't talk about it a ton, but I am polyamorous. That's one of my orientations. And I do feel, I'm glad that The Sims is finally giving us an option to do poly, but it feels like a bit of a workaround and not an actual solution. It doesn't feel like you can make a genuine poly household with like a polycule and like a group of people. It feels like this is more having an open relationship, which is still valid, and that's a valid form of poly, and that's okay. That's just not personally my form of poly, and I feel like it's a little bit more of a workout around than it is an actual solution to the poly problem. So I don't know. It's kind of a hot take, I guess, but that's sort of my feelings. And like, this is not the only choice that they made recently that feels a little bit special, because the other thing I was gonna talk about, y'all remember the login stuff, like the login rewards that they did, where you had to like log in a certain number of days a week to get these? Well, it turns out that the login rewards are locked to your device. So if, say, you have a laptop and you do these login rewards, and then after you're done getting all of them, your laptop dies and you have to go buy a new laptop, these are not saved to your EA account. They are like device specific, which means that you have now lost all of these login rewards and you can't get them back, which has a lot of people reasonably quite upset. So like, I just feel like some of the decisions, like EA was doing so well, like the Sims 4 team is doing so well. And I feel like in the last few months, like ever since they said that the director of the Sims 5 has left and like left the project and moved on, I feel like the vibe has gotten kind of weird. Like maybe that's tea and maybe I'm just reading into it too much, but I feel like the vibe has gotten kind of strange. And I don't know, I'm sussy. So we'll just see what ends up happening with The Sims 4, because they were doing so good. They were working on redeeming themselves. They're making a lot of good decisions. And it's not like they're not making like straight up bad decisions per se, but they are starting to make some questionable ones. So we're going to kind of see how things go in the future. So yeah, that's kind of my vibe, I guess, is that the PAX features, amazing. The PAX theming kind of gives me the ick, and I feel like is a little bit insensitive considering the socio-political state of the world right now. I mean, the B4, it's called the B4 movement, right? In Korea, where women, in South Korea, where women are just like not getting married and not dating and not having children and not like, you know, doing intimate things with their partner because they're like, we are tired of the way men's treating us. Like, that is what the current vibe in the world is right now. So it feels a little bit weird to be releasing like a hot, steamy date pack in the middle of all of that. It just feels a little tone deaf to me personally. So that's just kind of like my take on that. And also the login rewards, I have most of them. Actually, I think I got all of them because I was filming for Saving Evergreen Harbor, but like they're fun, but the whole device lock thing is not the vibe. So anyway, that's about it for our news for this week. That is all for this week's broadcast of Adventure News. Tune in next week and very soon, upcoming, we have both Palia news and some supermarket simulator news with a surprise update. So stay tuned for that, dear listeners. And remember, our dear viewers, in the paraphrased words of a very wise man, it's a dangerous business going out your front door because you'll never know where you'll be swept off to, but I think, dear viewers, that it is going to be an adventure. Also, if you want to see us react to this stuff live and then play with it right afterward, please check us out over on twitch.tv/Amy's_adventures, or just be on this YouTube channel when I'm streaming. So as of right now at this time, I am streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But just check the description of any of these videos and I'll have like updated versions. I should have the about page, have my updated stream schedule and stuff. So anyway, thank you. And I will see you guys in the next news update. Bye.